What is a tool garage? This is a video that's part of a larger series, a playlist I have called What is the Smart Woodshop? The Smart Woodshop channel has grown to over 176,000 subscribers, and it grows every single day. There's an engaged group within that, the Smart Woodshop fam, thousands of you which have already built the Smart Woodshop for yourself, and you know everything about it. But there's also a lot of new viewers and a lot of new subscribers, and I get a lot of questions. Even though I made videos on them in the past, I wanted to come back and revisit it and answer those questions. And if nothing else, it provides me with a playlist that I can just grab those emails that come in by the dozens or hundreds and provide that link so I can answer their questions without spending dozens or hundreds of hours writing individual emails. The tool garage, I'm going to tell you all about it, what it is and what its purpose is, but this is rounding out the rest of the fixtures in the Smart Woodshop because most of them are simple and quick. So I'm also going to cover the charging station, the nose cabinet, a storage unit here on the end, around the corner, a larger, deeper unit, a little bit of detailed storage over here next to the long drawers. A tool garage is a simple box, but it's very critical to the Smart Woodshop. The Smart Woodshop being a portable, no compromise. I keep saying no compromise because I want to emphasize that I can do everything with my tools, of which I carry 100% of them in this 8x12 mission trailer. As a general contractor, having built over 200 houses start to finish, as well as an uncountable number of remodels from small to being more work than building a new house, I can do that all out of the Smart Woodshop. To do that, I do have to carry some larger tools. A table saw, job site table saw, a miter saw, more than one miter saw. My Kreg jig I use a lot. That's a production pocket hole machine. Important to me because I find it is far superior for my workflow and production than the individual little ones, which I have though a multiple of those as well for the occasional single or double pocket hole. But when I'm cutting a lot of them, this is coming out. My oscillating spindle sander, belt sander, this is not used a lot, but it is handy, and it's great that I can just grab it out and drop it on the Smart Station. So all of these tools have to have a place to go to be mobile, to transport. And the design of this is that I don't want to have those tools like strapped down or bungee corded. Just like all of my tools, the restraints are passive. The tool's in place, it stays where I put it. So I have in here underneath and up here. Notice they're generic. I didn't build specific sizes. Things have changed over the years, tools have changed, and I'm able to use the space without modifying it. Currently, I just have my K-Pex and my SawStop CTS, which go in here. I do have a DeWalt 13-inch planer tucked in back there, which I don't use a lot, but I wouldn't get rid of it. It is handy. And even though it's my heaviest tool, I can slide it out at waist height, carry it over to the Smart Bench, and then set it right on top. I don't have to do a lot of up and down lifting, which makes me more likely to use it than if I'm lifting it up and storing it up here, which I did have it up there in the past. Its new home, it's going to keep. I am going to be adding tools, but I have plenty of room. For example, I'm going to get another miter saw. I want to get a framing miter saw. I had the DeWalt dual battery, and it was a good saw, but overall I didn't care for it a lot. I sold it off, so I'm thinking about another one, maybe in the Milwaukee. I don't know, but I got room for it, whatever I end up with. I used to carry two table saws, the SawStop Job Site Pro, which is absolutely the best portable table saw on the market, in my opinion, but because of size and the way I work. Their newer CTS replaced it. It's smaller, and it's all the table saw that I need because I use the track saw for all the big table saw demands. This is also a tool garage. In fact, I think early on, you could go back and see the early videos, and I've got a whole video on building this out. I think I might have actually had the planer up here, and that was just a bear to muscle that down. So having it over there is a much better location for me. And another argument for not making these two custom so that I can't rearrange tools. Up here I have a lot more space right now. I've really cleaned things up and thinned out a lot of tools that I didn't use enough to justify taking up space in the Smart Woodshop. This is also an example of why the plans for the Smart Woodshop and all their components are scalable. This tool garage and this tool garage are the same design. They're just scaled to a different length and a different height. This is my battery charging station. Again, it's a pretty simple box. It has adjustable shelves with the 32mm hole system drilled in it. I put pocket holes in the bottom of these shelves. So I use the pins to get it adjusted where I want. Then I hold them down and drive in the pocket screws. If I want to adjust them, I just simply pull the pocket screws, move the pins, get them where I want it, and put the pocket screws back in. So it gives me that adjustability, that modularity that I want over time, but it gives me the strength of a fixed shelf that's not able to move. In this, I have a power strip. I shopped around for this one. It's a pretty nice one, but it's fixed to the wall in the back. All of my chargers are neatly routed through a hole and plugged in to that back there. So you can see they're not just cords hanging down. I figured out where to put these different chargers, and I routed the cords. They're electrical zip ties holding them back, screwed in, and routed down, so I don't have things flopping around. I don't take my chargers out of the Smart Station onto the job. I come out to the Smart Station and put my batteries on, so all of my charged batteries are here, so I know that I'll grab off this shelf and be fully charged. If I bring them back in and they're dead, they usually go right on the charger, but if for some reason I got a backup, I'll drop those up here, knowing that I need to go from here to here to here. It gives me a systematic approach to keep my batteries charged. So many of my tools have become cordless that managing batteries is a bigger deal. Additionally, in here, when I wired the trailer, and that'll be a separate video, I'll do one on the electrical system. I ran the light off and on switch in here as well as an outlet. And then off of this, there's a four-way in the back, and that's where that plug strip is plugged into, as well as other outlets that are open. So all of my electrical is pretty much here, with the exception I have a little bit more going on down there. The tool garages, as well as the charging station, use a 3/4 inch ply strip on the edge, and that's the passive restraint. The batteries sit here, I can grab them out. They're not in a box with the charger tucked away. They're just right here to grab and go, but they do not bounce out. This trailer is 7 years old. It has a predecessor and a predecessor and a predecessor. This passive system is time proven on the roughest roads and driveways. This down here is my track storage. I'm able to store the 3 tracks that I use the most. I've got them in order, so it's my shortest, my medium, and then my longest. And they cover all of my track needs, but I'm able to protect my tracks without putting them in like separate, those nylon cases you can get now. They just take up more space. Again, time proven, these tracks are quite old and they're in great shape. This is a cabinet. It is a little separate cabinet with dados, so I'm able to put these shelves in and move them around. Once it's set up, this one is one of those ones that it's kind of fixed at that point. It would be a lot of work to pull that out. I'd have to do some disassembly, pull some screws, pull that out to make the adjustment of those. It's also my level storage, so I can just grab out whatever level I need. The longest ones are down below. This is my big 10-foot framing level. I love this thing. It's the one that you pull. It starts a little shorter and it gets long. Indispensable for framing. And then my 8-footer, my jammer level, 2-footer. And then I have some other shorter levels and stuff that I keep in some of the drawers. I take advantage of this long space. I've got my squeegee, again, that's a framing thing, and a push broom. And I used to keep this stuff in the back, but I use them enough that I like to have them right here up front, and I have the space. And then I have my long miter extensions for the Smart Station and some other of my Smart Woodshop accessories. And I have an aluminum plank here that's one of those adjustable ones that start shorter and go longer. Another real handy thing in finish when I'm working on crown molding. This shelf here I added recently this year. So this is not on the Smart plans, but I basically cut a 18 mil piece of plywood to the right width. I measured how far back I could make it, and then I put pocket screws and tapped it in. I had some spacers that I put in so I could knock it down and get it right where I wanted it. And then I reached in and got the screws in the pockets as far as I could. My wife is much more nimble than me. She went around the backside, crawled in, and put some more pocket screws in. So it's a shelf held in with pocket screws. Not a lot of demand on it, but it was nice because I'm able to separate some of this long stuff. It gives me a little more refined storage. And also I had some taller stuff that I wasn't using, and that got pulled out of the Smart Woodshop, and I got rid of it, again, because I want to keep just the tools that I actually use in the Smart Woodshop. The V-nose cabinet, it's pretty much designed just like the charging station. It's got these shelves. I set it up with the 5mm holes, drilled on the 32mm system, just the way I build kitchen cabinets or bookcases or anything. It's just the system I default to. And so the shelves go in, they sit on pins. I've got pocket holes underneath. So once I get them where I want them, drive in the pocket screws, but they're adjustable, and I can add or take away shelves. And so it holds to one of the important assets to the Smart system is I don't have to tear things apart and remodel when my needs or tools change. This one's changed a lot. It was my vacuum shelf where I had 3 different vacuums on it, my dust collection. That's changed. I still use the bottom for one of my vacs, and I only have 2 now, and the other one goes up in this garage up here. And then I use the extra shelves for drop cloths and cover cloths. These are bulky, they're light, but I need to have them when I'm working on remodels. I need to protect surfaces if I'm painting, you know the drill. So I want to have these on board. I've moved them around, and I just like them here. I fold them up neat, clean them after, shake them good, fold them neat, and I like to stack them so that they're easy access. So you can see kind of what the storage is now. It may change a little bit more because, again, I've gone through this purging, and that was one of the things that I did. And it's a real simple design. The sides are only this wide with an angle on them, so they go right into the V-nose, the shape that I have. And then the shelves, they meet that, but then they continue on. So the shelves kind of float after that. These are part of the Smart Woodshop walls that I put in before any of this. These 2 back here will be a little harder to show you, but around the corner, I have a narrow shelf. It was space that I wanted to take advantage of. I could have extended these, but I really wanted this space because it allows me to store some narrow stuff that I want to have on board. So I've got chalks, like for framing. I have like compressor oil, and I have cleaners and solvents. So it's just a real handy place to keep things. I even have my go-to caulking gun hanging right off down here. And it was designed, again, for this particular depth to fit these kind of things. It's really kind of a variation on the Viewtainer storage. And again, very scalable, where it can be made longer, taller, shorter, and even have different ones in different places. It's handy to try to sneak in these little spaces. You'd be amazed how much you can get in these things. It even makes great caulk storage. Well, all the way around the corner, I'm gonna have to show you with this camera. This is my storage for bulk materials, screws and nails and things like that. I keep my 4-foot ladders back here. They're easy to pull out and pull around. And then I have my one extendable ladder, which I don't use a lot, but it is handy. I want to hang on to it. I'm able to hang my nail bags, and Chris's nail apron is here. I also hang my nail apron, but right now it's up front because I'm using it regularly. But then on these shelves, and again, just like the others, there's a lot of pocket hole screws to make them strong, but I pull the pocket hole screws in, I can adjust them. And it goes down to just above the floor where I have that long stuff, like the track comes through right to the back of it. But I have cases of framing nails, cases of screws, all kinds of backstock on screws. I even got some visqueen and some flashings and things. So this is, I don't need to get to it all the time, but it's materials that I want with me so that I'm not running to the hardware store to pick up things, which is inefficient. When I get on the job in the morning, I don't want to leave the job until the end of the day. If you want to build yourself a smart wood shop like this, with all of the details for everything you see, a smart bench, a smart station, router table, cradle, cart, or any of the accessories that make up the smart system, there'll be a link in the description of this video down below. You can go there and purchase any of the plans or packages and download them instantaneously. It'll be a matter of a minute or two. You'll get an email automatically from us. Scroll down in that email, there'll be a link. You'll just click on it. You'll download any of the plans you purchased. And the good news is, this is 24/7, 365. I'll round it off with some of the stuff you see up here. This stuff is not part of the plans for the Smart Wood Shop. They're one of those things I've added over time. First off, this here, this isn't anything at all. I just use the framing of the trailer to put these clamps on. It's excellent storage so that I see them and I can grab the clamps that I need. I've got a full clamp drawer down here, but this just is the bigger ones and ones that didn't store as well in the drawer. And then I made these U-shaped pieces of material from plywood, 18 mil ply, and they're basically rectangular pieces. And then I cut away this shape here. I actually just took a little rip and I used my router to make them so they're all neat and clean, exactly the same. Pattern routing, it's what I do. I love it. And this allows me to make as many of these as I want. And then they're just attached with 2 screws on each side. Of course, I calculated the height and everything. And this stores my long clamps. Some of these go all the way back to here so that I can just pull them off and have them right there, not stuck. I had them in a long drawer before, but then they would get buried. And I just find that keeping them in my eyesight and easy access makes my workflow much more efficient, and also I'm more likely to grab it out. This is one of the exceptions where I do have a bungee. I found that to get this set so that I could easily pull them out, I needed to allow them to slide quite a bit. So without them being held back, they wouldn't fall down, but they would slide back to here and tip. So I went ahead and grabbed some bungee material. I just drilled a hole in each end of the first one. I did a knot in it and heated it up and kind of burned it. And now all I have to do is lift it up, and then I can pull these out. And then once they're all back in, I just pull it down over it. So it's not a big step. I prefer not to have that. It is one extra step, but I just found it necessary in this case. And I have another level here. This is my digital level. It's kind of an expensive one, and it's great for figuring out steer angles and all those kind of things. So I keep it up there, don't use it a lot, but it's definitely one that I want to hang on to. That rounds out all the fixtures and fittings you see in here. I do have one more video that I'm going to do on the electrical system, so keep an eye out for that one. Mahalo.